If you've been following our channel or our content at all, then you know that we are huge fans of the Steelcase Leap V2 chair. It has been the #1 ranked chair on our best office chair list for years, and it has tested very well in our office for things like seat comfort, back comfort, arm comfort, basically all of the things that we look for in a good ergonomic chair. But one thing that we have not done a lot of is touched on the potential downsides of the chair, some potential deal breakers that may make you look for an alternative product. And after selling quite a few of these refurbished chairs and using the Leap for an extended number of years at this point, we have a lot of personal experience and customer feedback as to why the chair may not be a good fit for some people. And so we're just going to go over some of those downsides here for you quick so that you don't get into a chair that would be a bad fit for your needs. So the first thing that we're going to touch on is probably going to be the biggest reason why most people would not like the Leap V2, and that's going to be the firm seat design. But I do want to pre-qualify this by saying that the Leap V2 seat did test as one of the most comfortable seats in our office out of all of the chairs that we've tested. So it will be comfortable for most people. It will just be a deal breaker for those of you that really like a thick, padded, plush seat. Now, I think there's this misconception with high-end ergonomic chairs that when you're spending a bunch of money on a chair, that it's going to come with one of those thick plush seats that you really sink into. And that's simply not going to be the case with most high-end chair manufacturers. Companies like Hayworth, Herman Miller, Knoll, Steelcase have all opted to design most of their chairs with firm seats. And this just goes back to all of the studies they've done on ergonomics, including things from institutions like Cornell that really point to a firm seat being more ergonomic in the long run and for extended hours in one day than a plush padded seat. So one thing that I will say about the Leap is that sometimes it can take a little bit of time to get used to the chair and have your body acclimate to the new sitting experience. So if you're experiencing some soreness or some numbness in your tailbone initially, I would try to give it a few weeks to test it out to see if it remains that way or to see if it goes away. Because for me personally, when I started using the chair, I did experience some soreness, but after a few weeks it went away, and this has now become my daily driver in my everyday chair. And another thing to think about with the seat design is that I would advise against trying to alter the seat on the Leap to make it more comfortable for you. And if the seat is just not comfortable for you, I would look for an alternative product. And the reason that I'm saying this is that adding foam or another product like a purple mattress type product or a Tempur-Pedic type product is not going to necessarily fix the problem and may introduce additional problems because you will 100% be changing the ergonomics on the chair. Everything on the Leap was designed in a way for a reason, and that includes the seat pad. The seat pad has a very specific shape, density, it has different thickness in the back and the front, so changing it will change the ergonomics of the chair, and so I would advise against that, and I would simply go with another model if the seat is uncomfortable for you. The next thing that we're going to touch on that may be a deal breaker for some of you is going to be the recline function on the Leap V2, just because I think a lot of people expect something different out of the Leap V2 than it actually provides. So I'm just going to sit down in the chair here just to start out to show you what the recline is like. So when I sit down and I recline in the chair, you'll see that as I go back, the seat slides out a little bit, and then I recline back and I come forward. Now, one thing that you'll notice is that the back of the seat does not necessarily sink down a ton, it just kind of slides forward, so it's not like a rocking motion. And one thing that is not great about the Leap V2 is for those of you that like to be in constant movement. So if you like to be doing this all the time and reclining all the time, it's not a great chair because this motion on the Leap is not a smooth motion because there's a lot of plastic rubbing on plastic, and it's intended this way so that you can do something like this and just leave it here without having to hold it here. So it has a little bit of catch in there, so I'll try to show it, but as you can see, when I move up slowly, it kind of catches at each point. A lot of people think that this is a flaw in the chair, but this is how the chair is supposed to work. So you are going to feel a lot of sticking points in the Leap V2, and it's designed to be that way so that you can hold your positions. Now this chair is great for static positions, so if you like to work here and stay here, it's fantastic. But if you like to be constantly moving, then it's not a great chair because you can feel it sticking and it's not going to be super smooth. A great chair to compare this against is the Aeron chair, because the Aeron chair was designed in an opposite way to the Leap, and it's not meant to be in one position in a static location, but it functions phenomenally when you're rocking. So when you get in the chair, you can see that when I perform a rocking motion, the back of the seat sinks down. It's very smooth and it's very fluid, and there's no catching or sticking because it's not designed that way. It's not meant to do that. And so a chair like the Aeron or a chair like the Zodi or the Embody are gonna be much better chairs for those of you that like to be reclining constantly and have a nice, smooth rocking motion. Whereas the Leap is gonna be much better for those of you that don't move a ton in your chair, but like to have a nice reclined angle every once in a while. Next up, we're gonna talk about the lumbar support on the Leap V2. So the Leap V2, like I said, tested very well in our office for back comfort, and one of the biggest reasons is the lumbar support on the chair. It has a nice natural curve, you get a big height adjustment range, and you also get depth control, so you can really dial in how much support there is. The one potential downside will be for those of you that do not like pronounced lumbar, because the lumbar on this chair can be a bit aggressive. Now, I'm one of those people that does not like a ton of lumbar support, and so I did not initially like the backrest on the Leap V2. One thing that I would recommend trying if you're in the same boat as me, if you have this chair and don't necessarily like how pronounced the lumbar is, you can try taking the lumbar support out. We do have a tutorial video on this. It's just a plastic insert. You can see it here. It's curved and it just goes in between the fabric pad and then the backrest frame, and you can just take it out, and it makes it a lot less pronounced, but you still get the natural curve of the back, which does provide good support. Now, if you know that you're a person that does not like aggressive lumbar, and you do not want to do something like remove a part to make it more comfortable for you, then I would probably just steer towards another chair from the get-go. And the final thing that I think that you should consider when shopping for that Leap V2 is the headrest design. Now, if you are searching for a chair and it must have a headrest, then I'm going to steer you away from the Leap V2. If you've watched my Worth It video on this product, then you know that I'm not a huge fan of it. And it's an expensive upgrade, it feels cheap, it does not have a ton of adjustability, and the comfort level just does not match the rest of the chair. I also feel that it takes away from the movement that the backrest provides because it makes it much more rigid and takes away from the flexibility that you have to move around freely. Truth be told, the headrest on the Leap was an afterthought from Steelcase. The Leap was not designed with a headrest, and that's probably why it does not feel as comfortable as other chairs like the Gesture, which did have a headrest come out when the chair was designed. So if you love Steelcase, but you have to have a headrest, then I would steer you towards the Gesture. If you are not brand loyal and don't have to go with Steelcase, then you may want to just look for another brand entirely. I hope this video has been helpful for you in shopping for your Steelcase Leap V2. If you like videos like this and want more of them, make sure to give us a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe for more office chair content. Thanks a lot for watching.